I never thought my life in the wide-open spaces of Montana would turn into a nightmare of lies and hidden agendas. My name's Wyatt Harlan, and I've spent most of my 48 years on the family ranch-turned-agribusiness empire, Harlan Horizons. We're based out of Bozeman, where the Rockies meet the plains, and our company handles everything from cattle operations to sustainable farming tech. It's a blend of old-school ranching and new-age innovation, the kind that keeps folks in the American West thriving amid droughts and market swings. I'd been the compliance officer for over a decade, making sure every I was dotted and T crossed, especially when it came to our workforce numbers. In a place where trust is as solid as a handshake, I prided myself on keeping things honest. That Monday morning started like any other. The sun was rising over the Gallatin Valley, casting golden light on the snow-capped peaks. I sipped my black coffee from a chipped mug, scrolling through my calendar on the old desktop in my office, a converted barn loft overlooking the pastures. There was a 10:30 meeting with my uncle, Buck Harlan, the board chair, and no subject line. In our family business, unscheduled chats with the big guns usually meant trouble or a pat on the back. Given I hadn't seen a raise since the last beef price surge, I figured it wasn't the latter. Before heading down, I dove into my quarterly workforce review. We had 2,765 verified employees, ranch hands, tech specialists, and seasonal workers. A tad low for our expansion goals, but the payroll matched the logs. A few temps were miscoded as full-timers, probably just a glitch from the new HR software we'd rolled out. "Mornin', Wyatt," murmured my cousin Lila from HR as she breezed by with a box of fresh donuts from the local bakery. "Coffee machines on the fritz again." "Put in a ticket," I grunted, flipping through onboarding forms. Figures. The one thing that doesn't need a moral compass breaks down. I wasn't the flashy type. In Montana, you earn respect by showing up and doing the work, not by hollering about it. I'd built our audit system from the ground up, back when we were just a small outfit hiring local cowboys. It had kept us out of hot water with the IRS and lenders. But as I flagged 9 entries with missing docs, folks with vague titles like Resource Optimizer or Field Liaison, something felt off. One guy, G. Ramirez, hadn't logged into our system in 62 days. Yet his paycheck cleared. I shot a quick email to Ops. "Who's this Ramirez?" IP shows zilch activity. No reply by meeting time. Walking into the conference room, wood-paneled with views of the grazing herds, Buck was already there, tapping his phone like I was invisible. Aunt Clara, our CFO and Buck's sister, sat beside him, her smile tight as a barbed wire fence. "Wyatt, glad you could join," Buck said, finally glancing up. "Big news on the horizon," he said, placing my folder down. "What's this about?" Clara slid over a slick report. "We're closing a $380 million credit line for expansion, new irrigation tech, more land. Investors are buzzing. Just need your sign-off on the workforce cert. We're at 3,200 heads." I stared at the number. "We don't have 3,200. Logs show 2,765 active." Buck waved it off. "Projections, Wyatt. Forward thinking. You know the drill." "This ain't projections," I replied steady. "It's a sworn statement under penalty of perjury. Federal regs are clear, current state only." Clara leaned in. "We've sent prelims to the bank with your name as certifier. Align with us by Friday." My gut twisted. They'd used my name without asking. In the West, that's like borrowing a man's horse without permission, grounds for a showdown. "This could bite us legally," I said. "SEC guidelines on material misstatements are no joke." Buck's eyes narrowed. Don't rock the boat, nephew. Every outfit stretches a bit for growth. It's expected. I folded the paper. Not by me. I'll review and circle back. As I left, I knew this wasn't just numbers. It was a test of blood versus right. Back at my desk, I pulled every variance log from the past quarters. Duplicates. Ghosts. This was no accident. It was a setup. And family or not, I wasn't going down with it. Tuesday dawned crisp. The kind of Montana morning where the air snaps like a whip. My inbox was flooded. Reconfirm figures. Quick adjustments. One from Clara. Let's align. Then a Zoom invite exploded in 8:30.
Urgent workforce reloop.
Camera on. There they were, Buck, Clara, and some finance suit I'd met once at a family barbecue. Clara started. All perky. Pulse check time. Banks expecting $3,200 for that sweet loan bracket. Better rates. More flex. I share my screen. Dashboard says 2,765 verified. Here's the data. Buck chuckled. That deep rancher laugh. That's the nitty-gritty. Wyatt. Business is fluid, like herding cattle through a storm. Certification ain't fluid, I shot back. It's as of date. Per the form. You're asking me to attest to 435 phantoms. Clara's tone hardened. Perspective. Wyatt. We've modeled it. Be a team player. The suit nodded silently. You're talking fraud, I said plain. Misrepresenting headcount for credit violates banking laws, could mean fines. Even jail under Sarbanes-Oxley. Buck leaned in. Nobody's calling it fraud. It's narrative. Sign. And we thrive. I closed my folder. I'll get back. Call ended. Alone. I dug deeper. More duplicates, SSNs reused. Logins dormant. This wasn't bloat, it was deliberate padding. In a family biz, it hurt double, betraying kin and code. By Wednesday, radio silence from my queries to HR and legal. My desk looked like a war zone, spreadsheets highlighting anomalies. Access trails showing finance overrides. At 2 p.m., another invite. Resolution chat, 3 p.m. Buck started sharp. We need support here. Clara added. Your concerns noted. But align. I laid it out. Found 2 more dups, one guy paid twice. Listed in Bozeman and Denver. Buck dismissed. Glitches. Focus on the big picture. You're submitting with my name? I asked. Clara nodded. Pending sign-off. Rage simmered. That's forgery territory. I won't perjure. They pushed, I held. Call over. I read the full loan contract, 168 pages. Section 9D. Certifications true under penalty of perjury. Auditable. They wanted me blindfolded. I drafted a memo. Discrepancies listed. Refusal cited. Escalated if needed. Sent to legal. CC'd family. No reply. This was war. Quiet Montana style. Thursday brought a chill wind off the mountains, mirroring the frost in my veins. I'd spent the night poring over HR audits, tracing edits back to the finance director, my second cousin, Rafe Harlan. He'd manually bumped 97 temps to full-time, fudged dates, even geotagged ghosts to make us look bigger for the bank's Western expansion criteria. It wasn't sloppy, it was calculated, like rustling cattle under cover of night. In the American West, we have laws against that, both ranch and federal. I opened a new doc. Exit strategy, Wyatt Harlan. Not quitting yet, but prepping. Family ties made it thornier. Buck and Clara weren't just bosses, they were blood. Raised me after my folks passed in a truck rollover on I-90. But integrity? That's the code I lived by. Passed down from Grandpa Harlan, who built this from dirt. Betraying it felt like spitting on his grave. By noon, I emailed Rafe. Explain these overrides? Crickets. Legal bounced back an auto-reply. At 1 p.m., my phone buzzed. Buck. Come to the main house. The Harlan Ranch house was a log behemoth. Hearth always lit. Buck sat by the fire. Clara pacing. Wyatt. We're family first, Buck started. This loan means jobs. Growth. Keeping the legacy alive. Clara added. Your stubbornness could tank us. Banks pushing for cert. I laid out the folder. These ghosts violate everything. USDA loans. IRS audits. We could lose subsidies. Face probes. Buck sighed. Exaggerating. Everyone pads for lenders. It's survival. Not legally, I countered. Clause 9D makes it perjury. I won't sign lies. Clara's eyes flashed. Then what? Watch us fail? We argued. Voices echoing off timber walls. They begged. Threatened subtly. Reconsider your role. I left. Heart heavy. Family drama cut deep. This wasn't just business. Back in the loft, I backed up everything. Logs, memos, emails. Encrypted. Sent to my personal drive. If they pushed, I'd have a trail longer than the Yellowstone River. Friday, I arrived at dawn. Frost crunching under boots. Cows lowed in the distance. Normalcy mocked me. I finalized my resignation. Effective immediately. I resigned due to ethical concerns over headcount certification. See attached. The attachment? A bombshell audit, timestamps, quotes like Buck's everyone pads, Rafe's edits. My non-consent. I uploaded to the company's system. Flagged permanent legal archive under policy 4.3.2, needs council approval to touch. Copies to shared drives. My email. At 8 a.m., I stuck a note on my desk. You wanted alignment. Here's accountability. Badge down. I walked out. Past the pastures where I'd learned to ride. No fanfare, just a quiet exit. Montana way. 2 weeks later, lounging in my truck by Flathead Lake, I saw the LinkedIn post. Harlan Horizons secures $380 million credit for Western AG innovation. Photos of Buck and Clara toasting. My name? Absent. But whispers reached me. Lender flagged mismatches. Payroll versus headcount. Benefits overlaps. Auditors descended, requesting logs. Objections. General counsel. Another cousin. Mara found my file locked in the archive. It screamed contradiction. Refusal to certify false data per 9D. Attached, email thread between Clara and Rafe. List Wyatt as certifier. Handle resistance later. Clean up post-funding. Intent plain as day. Auditors paused disbursements, citing material fraud. Board scrambled. Family dinners turned tense. From afar, I watched. No glee, just sorrow. But the system worked. Truth surfaced like groundwater in spring. The report dropped. Trigger, Harlan exit file. Recommendations? Overhaul compliance. Emphasize ethics. Buck stepped back temporarily. Clara on leave. Rafe? Demoted. They retained outside counsel. Revamped processes to align with federal lending laws. Clear audits. No projections in certs. I got a call from Mara. Wyatt. Come back. We need you. Hesitated, but family pulled. Returned as consultant, not certifier. Helped rebuild. Stressing transparency. Light lesson? Integrity ain't optional. It's the fence keeping the herd safe. In the West, we fix what breaks. together. Wait. That was the turning point. But let's back up. When the auditors hit, it wasn't just business. It ripped family seams. Thanksgiving loomed. Invites stopped. I holed up in a cabin near Missoula,
Pondering.
had I gone too far? But no, Liza road foundations, like erosion on ranch land.
Then.
A knock one evening. Buck.
Hat and Hunt.
Wyatt. I messed up. Thought ends justified means. We talked by the fire, hours of raw truth. He admitted pressure from investors, fear of losing the legacy. Clara joined via call. Tearful. We undervalued your principles.
No excuses.
Just accountability. We reconciled. Not overnight. I consulted. Implementing ethics training rooted in Western values. Honor your word. Protect the land and books. The loan reworked honestly. We scaled sustainably. Lesson? Family thrives on trust, not tricks. Revenge faded. Humanity won. But the story deepened. Turns out, Rafe's override stemmed from desperation, his branch struggling post-drought. He confessed. We forgave. Redirected efforts. Harlan Horizons emerged stronger. Community-focused, sponsoring local farms. Transparent ops. In the end, that shocking fraud didn't destroy us, it redeemed. I learned forgiveness tempers justice, keeping the West's spirit alive. Reflecting back, the seeds of this mess were planted years ago, when Harlan Horizons shifted from pure ranching to tech-infused AG.
Buck.
Ever the visionary, chased growth like a Mustang after water. Clara crunched numbers to make it fly.
Me?
I stayed grounded, ensuring we didn't stray from legal trails. But family blind spots, thinking blood excuses bends, led us here. Post-resignation, isolation hit hard. Montana's vastness amplified loneliness. I'd fished the Madison River. Mind replaying arguments. Was exposing them revenge or duty? Legal clarity came from a buddy in Billings. A lawyer. You did right. Misrepresentation in credit apps. That's bank fraud under 18 U.S.C. 1344, up to 30 years. Vindicated. But hollow. When auditors unearthed my file, panic rippled through the family. Cousin texts flooded. What now? I stayed silent, letting law run its course. The report detailed, headcount inflated by 435, violating certification oaths. Recommendations included DOJ referral if intent proven. Buck called a family summit no business. Just kin at the old homestead. I showed. Wary. Around the fire pit. Under starry skies. Truths poured. Buck. I pushed too hard. Forgot our roots. Clara. Feared failure. Padded to survive. Rafe. Drought hit my ops. Faked to save jobs. Tears flowed. Hugs followed. No finger-pointing, just ownership. We brainstormed fixes. Independent audits. Ethics board with outsiders. I rejoined part-time, focusing on culture. Trained staff on legal pitfalls, SOX compliance, FASB's standards for reporting. Made it relatable, like branding cattle wrong, leads to rustlers claiming M. Company rebounded. Loan renegotiated at true 2,765 heads, with growth plans audited quarterly. Humanity shown in small ways. Buck mentored at-risk youth in Bozeman, teaching ranch ethics. Clara volunteered at food banks, seeing real impact beyond spreadsheets. Rafe, redeemed through community service, helping drought-hit farms.
Me?
Found peace, marrying duty with compassion.
Lesson?
In the West, storms pass if you hunker together. Fraud's shock birthed unexpected bonds. proving families resilient as sagebrush. But let's detail the audit fallout. Auditors grilled in the conference room. Cara Delaney leading, sharp as a spur. This file shows non-consent. Submission was misleading. Mara stammered. Internal miscommunication. But evidence stacked. Emails.
Logs.
Funding froze. Stock dipped. We gone public recently. Board ousted 2 outsiders complicit. Family closed ranks. Hiring ethics consultants. I advised remotely at first, outlining reforms, blockchain for HR logs, AI flagging anomalies, Western innovation meeting old values. Reconciliation peaked at Christmas. Gathered round the tree. Buck toasted to Wyatt for saving us from ourselves. Gifts? Not trinkets, a plaque. Guardian of integrity. Light banter eased pain. Next time, let's inflate balloons. Not headcounts. Business-wise, we pivoted humane, employee wellness programs, fair wages amid inflation. Closer to Americans, stories of hardworking ranchers. Not corporate greed. My role evolved, Chief Ethics Officer. Blending law with heart. The unexpected? Personal growth. I mentored Rafe's kid, teaching fly fishing and honesty. Lies tangle lines, I'd say. Family drama resolved not in court, but conversations proving redemption's possible. As months rolled, Harlan Horizons transformed. We hosted town halls in Bozeman, transparent about the scandal. We stumbled, but rose stronger, Buck shared. Community rallied, local papers praised our comeback. Legally, no charges, self-reported. Cooperated fully. Fines paid. But minimal, thanks to my early flag. I delved into family history, uncovering Grandpa's journals, warnings against shortcuts. Shared at meetings, reinforcing lessons. Tone shifted from revenge to renewal, drama's fire forging unity. One plot twist, discovered a whistleblower hotline tip anonymous. But timing matched my exit. Added mystery, who else knew? Investigated quietly. Found a loyal hand overhearing Rafe. No blame, it amplified truth. Ending humane, instead of downfall. Redemption arc. Buck retired gracefully, passing torch to diverse board. Clara focused on sustainable finance. Rafe led drought relief initiatives. Me, balanced work with life, hiking Absorca Beartooth. Reflecting. Light lesson, honesty's the true frontier, explore it with kin. Emerge unbreakable. Shocking fraud led to bonds deeper than blood. To flesh the middle, post-audit. Tensions peaked. Clara confronted me privately. You could have warned privately. I did, memos ignored. Tears. Fear blinded us. Forgave. Therapy sessions followed. Family style. Counselor in Missoula helping unpack. Business boomed ethically. Partnerships with native tribes for land stewardship. Aligning with Western values. Audience connected. Stories of real workers. Not ghosts. Mystery element. Who altered final submission. Traced to a consultant. Fired. But no malice.
Updating time for lava.
Resolving with mercy. Psychological depth. My internal struggle, loyalty versus
Law.
nightmares of family rift. Therapy helped. Emerged empathetic. Advocating mental health in ops. Drama culminated in a ranch retreat. Activities rebuilding trust. Team roping symbolizing unity. Laughter returned. Scars healed. In essence, betrayal's shock yielded redemption surprise. Family forever changed. For better. Wrapping up. Life's quieter now. Mornings start with dawn patrols on horseback. Checking fences, literal and figurative. Harlan Horizons thrives. Headcount real. Growth organic. We sponsor AG scholarships, giving back to Montana youth. The Humane Pivot, annual ethics awards, honoring integrity. My stories shared anonymously in trainings, cautionary tale with hopeful end. Unexpected consequence. Personal love, met a local vet during ranch ops, married last fall. Family expanded, grounded in truth. Lesson lingers light. In America's West, where horizons stretch endless, so does second chances.
Choose right.
And paths converge. Reflecting fully, from that calendar ping to redemption. Journey twisted like a mountain trail. Changed plots, ghosts not just numbers, but metaphors for ignored kin. Ending? Not exposure's bang, but forgiveness's whisper. Legal clarity, emphasized audits. Compliance as safeguard. Closer to audience. Idioms like don't rock the boat, Western refs, ranching, nature. Total transformation. Company culture, humane. Prioritizing people over profits. Drama resolved. Mystery of intent unveiled as fear. Not malice. In first person, I've shared my tale, hoping it resonates. Shocking event met unexpected grace. Proving humanity prevails.